Welcome to the KINJAZ Podcast. Here we will discuss dance, life, and whatever the we want.
Folks, welcome to or welcome back to the KINJAZ Movement in the Shadows. We're your host, Ben.
And I'm Anthony.
And we have a returner, special guest and friend to the pod. We have actor, rapper, dancer, member of the Junior NBA Leadership Council.
Damn.
You may recognize him from the hit show Blackish on ABC. Miles Brown is back in the pod.
Glad to be here.
As a grown man, we got grown man Miles. Miles, so we go back, bro. I met you when you were maybe 8.
I'd say even before that.
Maybe before that. Baby Boogaloo days, bro.
Baby Boogaloo.
When you were
That's all I know you as, man.
I
In
know
my mind, I'm
it.
like,
I know.
Miles,
You and Bell Rock.
Yes.
I think I met you
Chad
guys at
Bailey.
freestyle session. That might have been the first time
Yeah.
maybe we met in person.
Okay.
And then we've definitely crossed paths many times since then. And
Crazy.
bro, you've been busy. You've been kind of busy.
A little bit.
The last time we spoke, 2 years ago, which is when we first got on lockdown because of COVID, so we had to do an IG live pod, which isn't the most ideal way, but
we worked with it. We did what we had to do, but so we're here.
We did.
Yeah.
So you were 15 you're 17 now?
17 now. Oh my, I was 15.
You were
Oh my
15?
gosh.
17
what?
right now.
Wow,
Yeah.
that time flies. That's crazy. Yeah. 17
I'm already
now.
tripping. I'm like, you got a mustache.
Mustache. This is coming in already. I'm trying to get rid of this right here before people.
Like, I
notice
can't
it.
even do that.
You're trying to get rid of that's like the maximum I can grow, man. Like,
I'm
Yeah,
trying.
man.
I'm trying to keep it stable.
I
so,
wasn't
yeah.
even there 2 years ago when you guys had the conversation, so I feel like I'm just sitting here like just
Oh, yeah.
mind blown.
We good
just
now.
everything
We're in
about
it
it.
now.
I'm like,
Yeah.
you're still Baby Boogaloo, but
Yeah,
I know you've been
crazy.
ripping it, so it's like
Yeah.
I'm sitting here today to get educated on how sick you are. You like
Got you.
everything
I
you've been
got
doing,
you.
man. It's been incredible.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's been a trip. It's been like the past 8 years. It's been a crazy metamorphosis. Like going from dancing to acting. Like the age from dancing to acting is just so many different things have changed. In the past. So it's just
Well, you gave us your origin story. You grew up in Oxnard. We
Yes.
know all that. So if you guys are curious about Miles' origin story, go back to that previous episode. But we kind of want to pick up, we just kind of, I don't want to say got through, but we're like on the tail end. Things are kind of coming out of this whole sort of like lockdown. And here we are in person.
Yeah.
And as we spoke last time.
I'm hyped, bro. This is
I'm
lit.
hyped too, bro. This is
lit. I'm
amazing
excited.
energy
I'm
right
excited.
now. I remember when we last talked, you were talking about the final season of Blackish about to happen.
Yes.
And it's already happened now.
Mhm.
And a lot's happened since then.
Yes.
So
yeah.
just bring us into that.
Yeah. Well, I think last time we were speaking, I think it was either right when the last season got announced or right when I think we were about to start filming it. I think it was when it got announced, when it first got announced that we were gonna do it. And I'd say for the past season or two before that, it was coming to that time where it wasn't coming to the time where it's gonna end. But shows get to a moment where they're like looking back and they're kind of like, all right, so are we gonna think about how we want to take it? We're gonna think about how we want to end it. So we've had those conversations for the past, I'd say, year before that, and then we got to a good. We kind of all got to the same page what we wanted to do, and then we finally came to season 8. This is it. This is what we want to do. We didn't want to. It was like we didn't want to get canceled. That's what, not figuratively, but like literally canceled.
I get it.
Right.
Yeah.
We didn't want to have the show stop in the middle of the season. I think
Sure.
that was the thing I was worried about the most because I hate watching a show and like it just ends. Like you don't. There's
awkwardly
no.
ends because
There's
they're like,
no
yeah, it's not
resolve.
working
You know.
out.
Yeah,
Right,
for
right,
sure.
right.
And that was the one thing. So it was like we didn't want to overstay our welcome type thing. So we wanted to make sure we just got the most of what we can do, and it just came to season 8, and it was a crazy season to just to film, just kind of like those little moments when you would kind of the most thing I can relate it to is like your last day of school at high school, like your senior year, your last day or your last year. Let's say it's your last year, and it's like. You go through all of the lasts, like it's my last this, my last
it's
that.
like there's like
my
a
last that,
like
yeah.
a poetic mortality to everything.
Yeah, it's like it was like I remember my last first day, like it was the last first day, the last first Monday that we had towards the end of the season, and it was just I think it didn't really hit us because we're always having such a good time. We're in the moment. It didn't hit us that we were gonna be in that slowing point where it was like. I think our last table read, because we do table reads every episode to, get the script down for the next episode. And it was our last table read. And this time we've been doing table reads through Zoom for the past year, right?
Yeah.
And normally from season 1 to season 5, season 6, we've always done them in a big conference room with all the execs in the room, good energy all around. And we've been doing it through Zoom. So we are begging the executives to let us do it one time in person. Like we know we've been letting you guys have us do it through Zoom all these years. Like at least give us this one moment to do it in person. And we finally did it in the big movie theater that they have on the lot.
It's awesome.
And instead of it being in a conference room, we did it in the theater, and then we had the whole seats filled up with the execs and just family members, friends, and everything. And that was when I think it really hit us, because that was our last table read. That was our last time going over the script together. And that's when it really hit us. And then ever since then, it was just taking everything in and just kind of I don't know what the word is, but just being grateful for every single moment that we had there.
8 seasons is a lot of seasons.
It's a lot of seasons.
Like how many years was that from the start of season 1, from the beginning of your journey on Blackish until the last day? How many years of that was?
Well, we started in 2014. I think earlier in the year. Actually, I'm not sure what time of the year we started. 2014, and then we ended in 2021.
So you're saying you were like 9 years old when it started?
I was 9 years old, and now I'm 17.
And then it finished when you're like 16 years old.
I finished. I forgot, because we didn't do as many episodes as we normally do, so our schedule was a little different. Because normally we end in March. But I think we ended a little before that. So I think I was about to turn 17. So I was 16 when we ended.
So this is nearly half your life.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah,
I remember when we talked, you were talking about how you felt like your show family was actually family. Like you said, like my show dad, my show
don't
mom.
Say that. Dude, his mom's upstairs. Dude, don't say that.
She loves it though.
We just love Sydney. Shout out
out.
Sydney. We
Shout
love
out my
Sydney.
mom.
I mean, I love
Shout
your
out my
parents,
dad,
by
too.
the way. I mean, by the way, we'll get to you. We got a sponsor here today. Yeah, we're dude. Shout out
you guys
Jada
putting it
Watch
right there. That's dope for you guys.
Of course, bro. Of course, man. I love your pops, man. Your pops is dope. And you talked about how much your pops was a big part of like hip hop in your life, right? And like, introducing dance and hip hop culture and all that. And that was kind of your first love. And then you found acting and things like that. But I remember when we last talked, bro, you were talking about how, Anthony Anderson, like these were like your sort of other parents / uncles and aunties. And you know what I'm saying? So how was that like, man? Like having to kind of grow up with this, second family, so to speak. Yeah. And then like have that kind of come to an end.
It was crazy at first, because everything, I've never really did. I was still somewhat new to the acting industry. I was fresh off of dancing, and kind of watching these people growing up. When I first met them, it was you guys know, it was like super starstruck. Like I was just super nervous every time I would walk past them. The scenes. It was weird at first, but the chemistry just worked so well for us, and we really clicked. I think I did the math with my teacher one time, and it was like for the past 8 years. Ever since I started, I spent, I think, 65 to 70% of my time on set, more than me actually being at home. That's what I'm
saying. That's incredible.
So I've genuinely seen them more than my actual family. So it's like, when you spend so much time with a group of people like that, you really treat them just as much as, as your real family. And we're always still talking to each other. We got a big group chat. We're always still interacting in there. So just to kind of know that they're always still around, it doesn't feel like it's over thing. It just feels like a new chapter, but the people are still together. So it was tough to have that idea of letting it go like that. But once I knew that it was going to be, we were always going to stay, we were going to stick together even after the show. That's when it kind of calmed the nerves down of like, oh, it's ending. I'm not going to see these people again type thing. Yeah. I think we just did that. I think we did Jimmy Kimmel. And I think that was the last scheduled event that we had together. So that was like, that hit too, because we used to do those all the time to promote the show. So, and just kind of having that idea of not being together, it was like a little like, overwhelming, but knowing that we're still going to stick together just kind of calmed those nerves down for sure.
Yeah. So when we last spoke, you were figuring out how to kind of make a positive out of like the quarantine COVID stuff, right? You said you were trying to do the things that you would do in normal life pre-COVID during COVID time. So whether that's like hanging out with friends over Zoom, playing video games
so
online,
weird
right?
Hanging out with your friends over Zoom.
It is.
Like what?
We did a lot of that. We did a lot of that.
A lot of that.
And what I got from you, bro, was this it was this like sense of positivity that you had that I mean not to downplay or say anything about age, but I'm like, as such a young person, I was like, man, this guy's really positive.
Yeah.
And really you were already thinking that this was a time for you to look at it as an opportunity to grow.
Yeah.
And you were finding ways. You were like, yo, I could take twice as many meetings now because I don't have to drive all around LA.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like pitching shows, you're talking about your production company, you're talking about doing your music and all those things. And like, so now that you kind of, you know, stepped out of that, you know, I mean, or out of that sort of quarantine life, how has that stuff kind of come into like fruition in terms of like real life stuff?
Yeah, well, it's just a crazy thought because I know a lot of people when quarantine first happened, it was like, I mean, even for me at first, it was like a really big shock. Like, wow, we're not going to be able, I don't know how we're going to film. I don't know what's going to happen to the show. I don't know, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I think it's just, I'm one of those people that always looks at the positive side of things and just looks at a way to make something positive into negative. It's hard sometimes to do that. It was hard, you know, to do that with the quarantine situation, but I just, you know, I kind of thought of a way to whereas I know I'm not going to be able to take these meetings anymore. I'm not going to be able to meet these people, no events. So I'm like, well, I'm looking at it to where it's like now I can sit back and look on my own and reflect. And I really started my production company in quarantine, started thinking of all these ideas in quarantine that I'm now that we're out of quarantine.
You have a production company?
Yeah, so yeah,
what
for
the fuck is
started
happening right now?
You know what you're talking about?
What the fuck is happening?
We got a
I'm
young
tripping
mogul
right now.
over here.
Okay, number one. All right, hold up.
No, you're good.
We got a young
I'm
mogul
sitting
over
there
here.
like,
Wait,
what
I
is
think-
it? This was all sitting all articulate and shit like a grown ass man, just like having this like, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've only I have to say this, man.
Yeah.
My entire relationship with you
Mhm.
for years.
Yeah.
For like over a decade. You realize this, right?
Crazy.
Mr. Baby Boogaloo.
Crazy.
Over a
Mr.
decade
Baby
has
Boogaloo,
been
yeah.
just like, you know, you taking class, we grabbing a photo afterwards.
Yeah.
You've been nasty as fuck, but like, I'm sorry, I keep on swearing because.
Now you good. I'm grown
Because
now.
you're a grown ass man. I
Yeah.
can't do this. I used to censor myself around it. Anyway, used to. Right? And now I'm sitting, now we're booking you to come on to our
Crazy.
podcast. And
Yeah.
and we're literally just, I feel so like honored to have you show up.
Y'all don't know how this feels to me.
I'm gonna get your autograph
like-
once the microphones are off and shit.
Yeah,
you know what I
thank
mean?
you.
But like,
Yeah.
but you're so articulate. You're well spoken. You represent yourself well. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you're incredible, Miles. And,
Thank you.
and maybe
Thank
I'm
you.
late to the party.
Nah, you
Everybody
good.
already knows this.
Thank you. Nah.
But
for
I
sure.
think this is just my first opportunity to be able to actually share that with you in
Yeah.
words outside of the dance.
Yeah.
Because I've always been able to tell you that in dance. I've always been like,
Yeah.
hey, man, you're really, really talented, this and
Yeah.
that. But outside of it, to see how that has like
Yeah.
more than blossomed and prospered, but like really almost like led,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
amongst many other people in your
Yeah.
category, in your age,
Yeah.
in your generation, like what you have
Yeah.
been able to do is
Thank you.
nothing short of
Yeah.
phenomenal, man.
Appreciate. Yeah, it's crazy. I think that's how it is with most of the dance community because a lot of people don't know. Like, I had nothing to do with acting. Like, I was strictly dance. Like, I would do Ellen, you know, AGT, just dance.
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
Nothing affiliated
Your
with acting.
AKA is Boogaloo. Like,
Yeah, so
I didn't even have an AKA. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it was just like a lot of people don't know that. So it's like it's kind of hard mixing those two worlds where I got to tell people I've met from acting, oh, I was really a dancer. And I'm not going to say some of those people don't take it seriously, but it's like when you tell someone you came from a different background, knowing how successful you are in that thing, it's hard to believe you were doing something that had nothing to do with what you're doing now.
Well, I mean, let's be real.
Yeah.
Dance is low key at the bottom of the totem pole for a lot of like the industry.
Yeah,
stuff
and
like that.
it's hard because it's like a lot of people don't know. It's like when I used to go to jams. Bro, y'all would know how much I used to go to jam all the time.
Yeah,
Like, with me and my
sure.
dad, we used to drive an hour. Like that's the whole dance community. We would drive hours to go
Straight
to
up,
places,
yeah.
you know. And now it's kind of like it's harder to go to those things now, just because I know obviously scheduling wise. But now that when I do go, it's like, it just feels good to have the same people there. Like, you know, the same people, the same energy felt like it doesn't feel any weirder now that it's like I'm doing something else now. And it's like people are coming up to me differently than how they used to. Cause it's like, I used to just be like Lil Miles, like Lil Baby Boogaloo that, you know, all
well,
the,
this
know?
is only even a
So-
conversation because
Yeah.
of how impactful you were.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mhm.
Like low key, no offense to any other little kid out there who is loving dancing. There's a bunch of little kids out there.
Yeah.
You know, all of us in our own hearts have been kids to the culture and the craft.
Yeah, for sure.
But very few stand out and have the
you.
notoriety that you were able to garner. And again, you know, correct me if this was already covered in the past pod. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get ahead of myself out of my own fanhood.
You good?
Fucking fan.
You good? No, you good?
But you were such a notable person in our dance scene. Give it the fro. Give it the.
Come on, man. Come on.
Cute as hell. Still are. Attractive young man. I'll give you a handsome, sexy
still like that, man.
I'm gonna say it.
Thank you.
You know.
Thank you.
But like, let's go in and dive into it. You keep on kind of bringing up this theme about the transition between being a dancer and again, and no cap, like you're established and known as a dancer, but then diving into acting, you know what I mean, and very full force, and then it being nearly half of your life. Like you have such a unique perspective of that. Like enlighten us a little bit. Like what is that experience? What does that feel like?
I think for me, I just grew up always, you know, the biggest inspirations for me growing up was always watching Soul Train, always watching James Brown, Michael Jackson, like, you know, I always watching just dance. Like that was
you forgot KINJAZ, but it's all good.
KINJAZ, everybody, you know, everybody. So you think, you
Don't
know,
be throwing everybody after KINJAZ.
Everybody, come on. And it was just for me, like wanting to just entertain somehow, and that was like dance was the first thing. So when you know, everyone kind of had that first dream. Like I had basketball, dance. Those were the two things. Like, and I would say I was good at both, specifically more dancing. And it was just, that was really what I wanted to do. And I loved it so much. And when you're a kid, you just want to be limitless, you know, like you don't care about no boundaries. I think that's one thing that a lot of when you grow up, I think I'm glad that I know this in my mind without, you know, cause I'm glad I know this, but it's like, I feel like when you grow up, a lot of boundaries in your mind gets put in that you can't do. And it's like, just having that kid mindset, even when you get older, is the best because you feel limitless. You feel like you can't be stopped by anything. So for me, it was just started off dancing, always going to jams, you know, known as Baby Boogaloo. And then it transitioned into me. Like, I think the first thing was like Yo Gabba Gabba. It was like, I did that as a dancer again. Yeah. And then I got a dancing agent. And then from there on, it was like background Nickelodeon shows, like little just stuff for background when it comes to dancing, and each one kind of required more acting every single time. And then that was when my parents were like, hey, we've seen some kids try to, you know, do the little transition from dancing to acting. We didn't really take it as serious though. And we're just like, might as well just do it. And then I think what went right for me when I did that was I still kept the same happy-go-lucky mindset, because a lot of kids, I don't know if any of you guys are kids in the acting industry, you know, when you go to auditions, it's stone cold. Like it's stone cold, like cold blooded in there. Like it's no having fun in there. Like
that's
it's so crazy, you know. It's like horrible. I mean, it's still fun because it's kids.
I mean, it's still kind of
like,
stone cold for adults too, but for you to,
but you wouldn't expect it to be like that for kids.
That's why I'm saying they would make a more fun, nurturing environment.
So
there'd be a ball pen next to the
exactly right. So you would never think it would be like that for kids. I mean, there's been industries where you can see it's really competitive for kids, especially even in dance. Like it's mad competitive for kids.
Yeah, totally.
But for acting, I wasn't expecting it to be like that because I came from such a fun place with dancing, and to kind of transition from that into something so serious. I think the only one in my age group that took it fun instead of it being serious. And I think that's what led to me standing out than other kids in those audition rooms. And I think
amazing.
It's crazy because you would never think, like, it wasn't like I was trying to be serious. A lot of these kids really try, and that's what sets them back, because they're not these shows. They look at them and they can tell they're not being them. They're not being, you know, really such a kid, if that makes sense. And it's like, I don't want to downplay being a kid, but in the moment, it's just like, I don't know. It's a crazy thing kind of going into such a serious thing.
I don't think you should downplay being a kid, because I think one thing as grown old guys over here.
I don't know, dude. I'm young, dude. What are you saying, bro? We trying to say,
I'll claim the old guy. You know, we try to remind ourselves, like, yo, why did we even start dancing in the first place? Like, it's because we found it to be fun.
Exactly.
And I think there is a childlike nature to anything. I mean, if you can find the joy and the pureness, the purity of like just the craft of why did you even do it in the first place? Because I enjoyed it. It was fun. It made me laugh. It made me happy.
That's that kid
It
feeling.
made other people happy. And I remember when we last talked, you said, and this is what you said on the Ellen show. You want to make people happy, and you know, like when people watch you dance, you see people light up, and you're like, oh, I love that, and I want to keep doing that.
Yeah.
And then you bring that into the other things that you do acting wise, and you know, I'm sure like music, all the other things that I'd love to get into. Recently, I saw you post about you winning your first NAACP Image Award.
Crazy,
and that post that you wrote to yourself, you're like, I'm going to put this out there now. I'm going to thank myself and be like, wow, I'm so glad. And this is you revisiting, almost as if you manifested that to happen. And I look at stuff like that too as it's more than just like positive thinking. It's really because you love what you do and everything that you do, and you find joy in that. So I'd love to like tap into even how you bring that sort of kid-like nature of I want to do it because I really genuinely enjoy something, and then also being recognized and awarded on a mass level. You know what I'm saying? To be acknowledged on this prestigious platform. Like, talk about that.
I think for me, and I don't want to say it's luck sometimes, but I feel like when you're super young, it's so easy to get molded into a certain mindset from your environment. Like when I was growing up, and I can't blame kids, because sometimes when I was saying these auditions are cold-blooded, it's because the parents. It's really because the parents, if I'm being honest, that makes them so serious about it. And you guys know my parents, like they would die on a hill rather me having fun rather than any money. Like they would rather me enjoy really what I'm doing than they'll tell me to turn down a deal if I'm not liking it.
See, mom.
Like
I'm sorry. Cut that out.
Go on, preach.
She don't follow the podcast.
But yeah, though, like it's to the point where they'll encourage me to not do something if they can tell that I'm not gonna enjoy it.
Yeah.
And that's where it really came from. If going from dancing to acting, they're the ones that made sure they were really patiently like looking at me in these auditions and seeing how I was handling it. If I did take it too serious, they would say, no, we're not doing it for that. We're not. And you would never think a parent would do that. And that's what they're supposed to do. But it's like, it's just crazy. So I think that's really where it stemmed from, what you're asking. And just anything I do, because I've been raised on that having fun and enjoying it mindset, is I'll always look at it in a positive way, and I'll always treat something in a positive way.
Can I ask what your parents do?
Well, my dad, he's an artist. You guys know, shout out my dad. And my mom, she's just always been there just for us. So just supporting everything we do, which is crazy. Like thinking how both of my parents have taken that role for me is just,
And how much do you feel like your dad being an artist affected your upbringing?
I don't think I'd be here if it was for anything that would have happened, but specifically my dad being an artist had a huge impact, because it started with him playing music, like playing the Michael Jackson, playing the James Brown, because I grew up on funk music, like no hip hop, straight funk music, right?
Yeah, that's what's up.
So from him going on tour to showing me like the certain dance clips of people in the crowd and the b-boy clips of all the Soul Train.
When you say going on tour, what was your father really like?
Yeah, I mean,
he was touring with Michael Jackson?
No. I'm saying no. Him going on tour, performing, and like the videos of people dancing. And he would always bring back those clips, and I would always see like, you know, Just Debout, like those old like festivals in France and different places. And he would always show me that, and that's where I got inspired to watch the Michael Jackson and stuff. So I think if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have grown up on dance, which wouldn't have led me, you know, grow up to become wanting to go into acting. I wouldn't have gone to acting if it wasn't for dance, because that's how I got into acting.
Let me tell you how powerful that is.
Your experiences, like you guys, like some people watching this, they might think that they're in a position, but that won't benefit them in any way. But any certain position that you're in can be used for the better.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that.
Absolutely. So
it's crazy, because I would never think dancing, especially at the time, because now a lot of people go from dancing to acting, but like at the time of 2010 to 2011, like a dancer going into being on a show, like it's just, you would never think a dance community would go into something that's so business, if that makes sense. And you know, it's just, it works out. Any situation like that would work out. So it's crazy. So yeah.
And so since we last talked, your album is now out, right?
Yes,
We the Future.
Yeah,
Talk about it, man. How did that whole thing go down?
Yeah. I think going back to my dad, just seeing him work and make music, it kind of inspired me to do that too. But I didn't know how to do it the right way because it's like I didn't know if I wanted to. That's why I'm saying I'm like the king of like bridging two worlds. Like I've always been growing up on bridging two worlds, like dancing, acting to older styles of dance, to newer styles of dance, to older styles of music, to newer styles of music. It's like my dad's always been played the older styles, but obviously my friends and the people I've grown up around were used to the newer styles. So I wanted to make music, but I didn't know which world I should go into. And then I think I found me being on Blackish helped me find that vision of where I wanted to, the things I wanted to talk about. And Blackish is known for, being a show that not only it's like music, like people who are really good, like the Kendrick Lamars, the people who really speak up on topics, they know how to make music sound good, but know how to really talk about things that normally artists don't talk about. Same with Blackish. It's like we know how to make jokes, but normally we talk about things that comedies or sitcoms don't talk about on the show. So that's what inspired me to talk about the certain things I wanted to talk about on the album. But it was just the connections I made through acting. Like I've grown up always, listening to Rakim, Grandmaster Flash, like all the, everybody that's on the album, that if you guys see the features that are on there or just the people that have done a shout out on there, it's like I've grown up being a fan of them and bridging the gap again, like me telling them I'm working on music, knowing that they had no idea I did music or they just thought of me just as an actor, it really blew them away because they're like, oh, I didn't know you did music. You're so young. You're doing so many things at one time. It's crazy. So that's really how that came about. And then just for the title, We the Future, my sister, shout out my sister Kiana. I don't know, she's Kiana. She's gonna probably watch. I was looking for a name, and I had her be the creative director for the whole the cover shoot and everything. So we did the cover, and her idea was we wanted to redo the picture of the signing of the Constitution. Wow. That famous statement, "We the people," that was like a huge thing because that was like. And there's a picture of if you guys research signing of the Constitution, it looks just like the cover, and it's like one person speaking for different voices in the room, and we kind of wanted to represent that for me being like a different voice for different kids and the youth out there that don't have that voice or that they don't know what they want to do or they don't know if their voice is taken seriously enough just because their age, and that's just how we came up with We the Future. So it was just it was a super dope lane to play into, and it was fire. So
that's beautiful. What's on your album or through your music and your craft in terms of your expression, what is and I love that playing on We the People and turning that into We the Future, because there's something about like history that enables us to relate to like an old understanding in order to pursue a new understanding. But like what's another message, something that's on your chest that you want to get out through your expressive art that without people listening to the songs right now and through your voice right now you would want to share?
It's too many. I mean, I don't know. I think just the main thing about just the main thing in general that I've always wanted to put out, no matter if it's I've had the chance to or I've not had the chance to, and I'll still continue to do that, is just anything that it's just that having that kid mindset. It might be so goofy to people, like, oh, I don't want to think like a kid, like, just that thing, but that's really the key to being creative, to knowing what you want to do, to enjoy doing what you want to do, learning on what you can enjoy, and I think the biggest thing is just another thing is just prioritizing having fun and doing something and enjoying something over the money, because that's gonna turn on you.
What's crazy?
In an instant. So.
I think when I was naive and younger, I would say similar things, but I wasn't wise. I just believed that, and
it's real. It's real.
The beauty is I hear conviction in your experience, and I believe it more when you say it than when I was trying to say it to myself when I was younger.
Because I watch artists say it all the time, and it's like, you see artists go up to the crowd and always give these positive messages, but it's like, I'm thinking, the thing I've always seen when I've watched those videos is like, if I'm in that crowd, do I believe that? Do I use that strongly enough to really do that? And I think it's just, when you see someone really doing what they're preaching to that, it makes it so much easier, especially coming from me. I'm a kid. It's so many different things that I feel like what I'm saying, and what I'm saying is I know it's true and I know it's possible. So it's like, so.
Well, I mean, dude, you finished something very monumental, bro. I mean, you wrapped up 8 seasons with Blackish, and I know you grew up on that show from kid to a young man, you know, doing music. You were just at the Oscars, you know what I'm saying? You're doing things on a level, you're hanging out, you're doing things with the NBA. I feel like everything that you've ever passionately talked about, you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And I think that does come from, sure, you find it to be fun, but you also put in the work. You train yourself to be able to step into those spaces, to actually run with the titans of those spaces. And, you know, now that you're kind of, you know, moving forward from this chapter that you kind of wrapped up, what's kind of in your current scope of
what's next?
Moving forward?
Yeah, the biggest thing right now is just polishing the production company. That's the main thing right now, because I started the idea of me doing it in quarantine, and I knew when it's a super long, when it comes to acting, it's such a long process of how things get done. And just I knew I had this idea, and I knew I wanted to put out my own ideas, because we all have ideas of things that we run through in our head for like 2 minutes, and then we just say, oh, I'm gonna remember this, and then we just forget it like 2 minutes later, you know?
Yeah.
So me, I just really went to the pen and just wrote every idea that I've had, and there's a few films that I'm almost about to get done that we're gonna start shooting hopefully soon. So those are the things that I've thought of in quarantine. So it's like, you see how long things take. And then that's just the main thing right now. Just polishing and finishing that. Hopefully also the Miles Morales, you know, the Spider-Man
Trying
thing.
to be Spider-Man. Let's get it, dog. I remember you said that last time.
So
that hella makes sense.
That would be crazy
I can
too.
see that.
Yeah, so
just Marvel was good.
I know, I'm telling y'all gotta do it. But yeah, those 2 things are just the biggest things on my mind right now. Finishing school too. Like, I'm mad behind in school. I've been so busy trying to like do all this stuff and trying to
school, man. I didn't say
I can't. I got straight A's. I can't do
Sorry,
that.
Mom and Dad. I'm just saying.
Well, speaking of which, we know you got to get out of here soon, man.
Yeah,
you got to get to school.
You guys don't even know. Like, it's crazy so much, because me being a dancer, like, I'm trying to think if there's any other person I can relate this to, but just me coming from that background so much, the values and the people that I used to look up to, they don't change just because I've done different things. Like, you guys, I went to this. I was here when you guys did this. Genuinely, I was here waiting for you guys.
I remember.
Yeah. It was just like the people that I look up to, and the people that I've always grown up watching and admiring growing up. Just because I'm not doing that all the time, it's like, those people would always staying there, like always Jabberwockies, KINJAZ, Electric Boogaloos, Michael Jackson, you know, James Brown. Every single person is always keeping that. I
can't even believe you said KINJAZ in that group of people. You just
bro,
listed.
like, y'all don't even understand. I used to really hold on.
Don't say used to, man.
Hold on. Hold on. Can you guys give me 2 seconds? I gotta grab something from my mom to show you guys.
Go grab
Can
it, dog. Go grab it.
Right.
We'll take a pause.
Okay. He comes back with a Jabberwockies mask.
All right, we back.
All right, we got. Okay. Oh!
This is how y'all know. So look, check this out, right? So this was
what the heck?
I was on, I think, season 2, season 3, and we would always do our Halloweens, right? And I was always in love with ninjas. You guys probably started that. I've always wanted to be a ninja for Halloween, right? So it went from like a regular ninja to stealth ninja, ice ninja, red ninja, all types of stuff. Like, those are the names, like. And there was one year I was out of ninjas. Like, I used every Party City ninja you could possibly think of. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just go from the real source, right? So I called you guys and I was like, yo, could you guys make me a KINJAZ mask? And I remember I used this for my Halloween costume on Blackish. So this is proof of what I'm talking about. The people that I've always looked up to before the Blackish things, I still.
Were you telling me you wore this on the show?
No, on set.
Okay, I would have to
fake you guys
that. Yeah.
No,
Okay.
but on set we all dressed up as something, and everyone loved this. Like, I had to tell everyone.
That's a
where this came
101,
from.
isn't that?
Yeah,
That's a
Because
101.
we don't even have that.
We don't have
we
that.
have the
Yeah.
white version of
I
that.
asked, and it was like, I think like it took a month. Like, I called you guys probably a month before Halloween, because I knew how long it was gonna take. And man, like, y'all don't even. This is crazy.
That's how impactful and consistent you were to our journey. That
yes,
we
but I'm
would
trying to
even
tell you guys.
care
yes.
to do that.
Yeah, I was like, I came up with the idea. I was like, I need a ninja. I need a type of ninja to do. Party City ran out of all the ones I've done already, right? So
we're
I'm
the
like,
last resort.
You know, yeah, they're the last resort, guys. So if you guys, I'm just joking. So look, I was like, I just was brainstorming with my dad, and I was like, I need to do some type of ninja. I can't do like some lame zombie or like some lame like like just something random that all the kids be doing, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, and then I came up with this, and it was just automatic. It was
Well.
it was. But I didn't know if I was gonna. I don't know if you guys were gonna be able to get it done because it's so quality. Like, look at this. I didn't think it was possible, but I was mad hyped when y'all guys got this done. So. Yeah, this is
shout out Junlin.
Yeah, that's like
Shout
costume
out
designer.
Junlin.
Yeah, so just so y'all know, this
Um,
is real. This is real what I'm talking about. So great. I'm gonna put it. I would put it back on, but I
If y'all aren't watching on YouTube, Miles has a one of one KINJAZ mask that only he has. We don't even have that.
That's not like a kinesthetic. That's like a costume.
Straight
mask.
up.
That's
Straight
straight up
up.
costume
Straight out of
style
it,
that we
man.
wore on the shows and stuff.
Yeah, so
Yo,
crazy.
man, dude, we
Yeah.
want to talk so much more with you, but we know
I
you
know.
got.
But you gotta go to school.
We gotta,
gotta
I know,
go
I
to
gotta
school.
do school.
You
all
gotta
kinds
get
of
to
stuff, bro.
school.
Hey, just ditch
I
school,
know,
man.
I gotta
Just hit your
catch
mom
up,
right
man.
now. Just- we used to ditch
I'ma
all the
come
time.
back.
It's still
I'ma come
fun.
back.
I didn't ditch, bro.
Dude,
I'm gonna come back for sure.
good.
I want to talk.
Yeah, you're gonna come back to school, right? Because you're gonna stay here.
Nah, but for sure. I mean, you guys know how much I appreciate everybody.
Yeah.
That
No,
you
we'll
guys
definitely
work with,
get you
bro.
back in
Everybody,
here.
so.
You know, when we got more time, and you know,
Yeah.
we had our lightning round with you last time. We wanted to do that
Yeah.
again, but for the
I
sake
had to
of
make
time.
sure I came to really.
But
talk
you know,
for
just
sure.
real quick, man. You know, mastery, right? You know, the concept of like being able to master something. We're all searching for that.
Mhm.
Bruce Lee once says, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times."
Mhm.
And so that could be anything, right? And
Mhm.
as basic as you want to go, or as grand as you want to go, what is something that you feel like you've mastered in your life?
I don't think I mastered anything. That's just, if I'm being honest, I feel like that's the key of me wanting to do more things. And that's the key of me always wanting to get better. Cause it's like, I know I can say I've gotten good at things like,
Sure.
you know, I've got down to acting, dancing, rapping, whatever. But it's like, I think I can always improve on those things. And I know that mastering is such a word people want to use it like for themselves. But I just feel like if I ever say I've mastered something, I feel like I'm done. Like my mission's complete. You know, that's it.
So you've mastered being a
Spoken
student.
like a
Master being a student.
You
That
mastered
could be one
brilliant
thing.
17-year-old.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
that sounds.
because it's like I could easily sit up here and I'm not trying to brag, but I could easily sit up here. I say I mastered this, mastered that, but it's like then I walk out this room and I've mastered it. So it's like it's a video game. It's like a video game. You mastered it. You only got side missions left. You know, so it's like there's no there's
love that.
you know it's like
Yeah.
so I don't ever want to consider myself people like the greatest actors of all time, the Denzels, the Will Smiths, all of them will tell you that I'm pretty sure they'll tell you the same thing. So
Yeah.
it's
Denzel
just-
is my favorite actor.
yeah, love him. You know,
Mhm.
he's the
Mhm.
GOAT. So
Mhm.
it's just that's just the way I see it. So if I could say I mastered one thing, I think I've mastered, like you said, being a student.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well, that's good, man.
Nothing wrong with being a student. That's the best thing to be. You
That's
know?
the best thing to
So,
be. The best thing
yeah.
to stay for life.
Yeah.
Yeah, straight up.
I hate how perfect you are right now. It's like
You just
starting
gotta
to bother me how
balance.
sick you are, bro.
I'm trying, bro. I'm trying. So
Yeah. Hey,
Just-
but dude, again, man, one, we appreciate your time, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And congrats on everything, bro. You know, as people that you feel like have inspired you, you're inspiring us right
Thank you,
now,
guys.
you know, with what
Crazy.
the way that you're pushing, but more than the things, it's more of your reason why. It's more the energy that you put into it. It's
Yeah.
coming from a genuine place of joy. You're making people happy. You're inspiring others. People are
Yeah.
looking up to you right now.
so crazy,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? And
Yeah.
here we are. And we know this is just the beginning. Now that we're kind of out of this whatever, you know, COVID-y land, man,
Yeah.
let's do more, bro.
Yeah,
I know
got
we
to.
talked about getting a little collab thing going. Like,
I know
let's
we
get
got
it,
to.
dog.
We
Yeah.
got to for sure. Y'all gonna see in the future for sure.
Yeah,
so.
when you bring us on Blackish season 9.
Hey, I got you. Yes,
That's our
ninja-ish. I got
destiny.
y'all
Yeah.
for sure. So yeah,
No,
thank
no,
you guys.
I gotta add to that. You know, I hope that this is, at least in my own personal journey with you, I hope you understand now that like I genuinely look at you in such a mutually respectful way, because
thank
I think
you.
what you're doing is incredible.
Thank you.
I think that it really is an honor to have you, you know, share your time and your space with us,
Yeah.
because your mentality is, and I don't mean this as a diss,
Mhm.
it's like what people will read on a Hallmark card,
Mm.
but 99% of the people don't know how to do it.
Mhm.
And you do.
Mhm.
And
I
that
never thought of that.
re-inspires
That's
me.
crazy,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like that childlike wonder is exactly what we don't preach. We try to relearn in our darkest and our most difficult moments. Because the older you get, straight up,
Yeah,
the older you
exactly.
get, the more
Mhm.
realistic, the more heavy, and the more difficult a lot
Yeah.
of the concerns in your life and the experiences that you have to endure
Mhm.
will become.
Mhm.
And it's in those hardest moments that exactly what you're preaching right now and that mentality and that understanding, those are the things that are going to carry you through it and that are going to make you do greatness. And you already have achieved such a greatness beyond your years. Literally, like, you're 17 right now. I didn't even start dancing till I was 18.
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So like everything that you've accomplished, I feel like you're in my own beautiful personal story of myself, because I'm too into myself. You're already at such a head start, and you've done so much. And man, I just want you to know we're going to be continuing your journey. We're going to be fans of it.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to be able to share space.
It's all documented here. So if you need to remind yourself of what you said, listen back on this. Keep that childlike wonder, man. For sure. Mark your own words, man.
For sure.
Yo, Miles, thank you so much for sliding through again, bro. And we'll plug all this stuff, man. We'll put all your socials and all that in the notes. But guys, if you guys are tuning in, thank you so much for listening to another episode. If you're digging this, share it. Write us a review. Leave us a 5-star rating. Follow us on social. KINJAZ Podcast, Cast with a K. We're on all the social platforms. Screenshot us or you listening to the episode. We'll regram all that stuff. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. We love you guys tuning in. Thank you guys so much for the support, and listen to all the other episodes. We got a lot of amazing episodes, amazing guests in previous episodes. Again, Miles, thank you so much for coming through. And we'll catch you guys on the next one.
This was way too short.
This is way too short.
We're gonna redo it again.
We're gonna revisit
because you're too amazing, bro. But we'll get back to it. You already know. You gotta go to school.
Appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir. All right, y'all.